back there?
You know, now we can.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now my face is dark.
That's true. Yeah, we got our view. That's okay. You can switch it back around now, Dan. We've got it. That's great. Perfect.
All right.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, let me do an introduction. I was just getting ready to introduce you to the students, and really appreciate you taking the time to do this. Students, this is Dan Kadlec, who is a journalist and writer for Time and Money magazine. He's authored a number of books. He's been on Oprah. We first met each other face-to-face, gosh, what was it, at Penn? Was that
Yeah, that sounds right, at Wharton a couple years ago.
Yeah, and we do some work together, actively keep in touch, and he is, I think, clearly the best financial education writer in the country. So his post this morning was right on with what we're learning about today, using your phone to manage your money and make better decisions, and I wanted to give him an opportunity to talk to you about it. He was kind enough to take just a few minutes out of his day to help you along with it. So this was an impromptu thing. Dan, they're being surprised right now. So you're teed up. First of all, what would you like to say?
Well, I will just, I'd like to know, first of all, how many of your kids have smartphones?
Let me see if I can turn this around. It's hard to see.
Mom, I don't know.
All right.
Look, Mom.
All right. You guys want to be on TV? There we go.
You guys all have smartphones?
Yes.
Almost everybody, right? So tell me something else. Does your teacher tell you how to balance a checkbook?
We haven't gotten to that yet, but we're learning it on their phone. I'm teaching how to do it on their phone.
I was going to say that's real old school stuff. You don't even need to know that anymore. If you just know how to if you know how to work your technology, you're going to be fine.
Actually, I had a student, Jesse. You want to say hi?
I'm Jesse.
Hey there, Jesse.
Jesse was just talking to the class about how he manages his checking account. He does it all on his phone. He has an account at PNC.
Right, and I think all the banks now are making it a lot easier. But where we're headed is something that I can hardly even believe, with this whole world of taking a picture of a bill with the camera on your smartphone and having it instantly hook up to your checking account, and the bill gets paid just by taking a picture. This report that I wrote about this morning, something like 9 out of 10 millennials. I guess you guys are maybe not quite. Are you guys millennials, or is this Gen Z? Anyway, young people. Let's say 90% of young people have a smartphone, and the camera is the most important function on the phone in their estimation. And they're using it for everything. You take a picture of something. Take a picture of the garbage can just to remind yourself to take the garbage out. You don't have to write anything anymore. You take a selfie and post it. So 1 out of every 3 pictures taken on a smartphone is a selfie.
Dan, when my students take notes, they just take a picture of what's projected.
Right, and so we're entering this world where if you buy a piece of furniture at IKEA that you have to put together, you don't have to read the instructions anymore. It's all on YouTube, and it's so much easier. But we're really entering this kind of what I think is a scary world where people don't need to read or write anymore. They just take pictures and look at visuals. But that's really where we're headed.
What advice do you have for them about how to use their phone to manage money?
Well, I wish I was better at it myself, Brian. I would say, learn how to do it. I mean, it's all the banks now. I was at a meeting this morning at Bank of America, the very top people at Bank of America, and they're all talking about mobile technology. That's all any of the banks are talking about. They understand if they want to capture the next generation of clients, which are the people in your classroom right now, they're going to need to improve their mobile experience. And so as you guys get older, you're going to be able to do everything, all your banking on your mobile phone. And that's what the marketplace is demanding, and it's going to get figured out.
Let me turn to the class. Class, what questions do you have for Dan right now before we move on?
So he writes like papers all, or he writes about how to like finance your money.
Yeah, financial education and money. Yeah. Yeah. So again, his background is he writes about money, financial education, retirement. So he really is an expert in the field. Can you think of anything that you'd like to know offhand?
How much does he write a day?
Okay, how many articles do you write a week, Dan?
Anywhere between 2 to 4, pretty much every day, with a day or two to think about it. I used to write a lot less. I used to write once a week, but the new world of journalism is more often and shorter. That's what we're being asked to do now.
Okay. Yes.
With like the advancements in technology, what does he think in the future how easier it would be to manage our money?
Okay, the question was, with all the advancements in technology, do you think it'll be easier to manage your money? What are some of the advantages of that? And I'll add on to that, what would be some disadvantages?
Well, there's no question it's going to be easier. A lot of people just really hate the whole subject of money and managing a checkbook and keeping track of your budget and doing it longhand on some sort of written thing, or having a 3 jars sort of approach, which is not a bad idea, but if you're running a household, you need a lot more than 3 jars. So that was all sort of the manual way of doing things. Now, you through your bank or maybe mint.com or some app, just kind of all, if you get plugged in, once you get plugged in, it's all right there at your fingertips, and it'll make it a lot easier to see where your money's going and what you're spending money on. Even now, if you're not even totally tech savvy, like on my bank account at Citibank, I get a printout at the end of every year, and I can see where every penny went. I pay all my bills online, and I don't keep track of any of it, but at the end of the year, I get a giant statement, shows me exactly what I spent on every category that I'm tracking. It's fabulous. You save so much time not having to, pay attention minute by minute. When my kids went to college, I told them, make sure you keep your receipts and track where your spending goes. But that's kind of old news now. I mean, you just do it through an online system, and it's all tracked for you.
Last question. I know you're busy, but you just had a daughter graduate from Miami, right?
Miami at Oxford. That's right.
Yeah, right up the road from us. What advice would you give my students now? Kind of like how you wrote, Lexi a letter. It was Lexi that you wrote the letter to, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. So what advice would you give to a student right now, if you could give them like one tip, and maybe include something where they would integrate technology?
Oh, that's easy. Start saving today. Whatever you get, any sort of income that you get, just get in the habit of putting 10% in a bank somewhere. And don't ever stop. Don't ever touch that money. Don't ever stop. That's what you're going to need. If you start today saving 10% of everything you make for the rest of your life, and that sounds awful, right? But it's really not. If you do that, you're going to retire at 70 with no problems, and it's going to have been one of the easiest things you ever did if you start now and stay with it.
What do you think is the easiest way to save?
Some sort of automatic debit program. I don't know if you guys have checking accounts yet, but if you can link a checking account with an automatic debit feature into a savings account, you'll never have to think about it.
Perfect.
How do you feel about college?
What about direct deposit?
Yeah, that's what he's saying. That's what he meant, direct deposit, yeah. But that's different terminology.
How does he feel about debt in college?
Right, direct deposit, but something that you don't have to think about. It just happens. It happens every month.
Perfect.
That's kind of like the basics of what a 401k plan is.
I got one last question for you. You're going to love it. What advice do you have about how much student loan debt to take on?
That's going to depend on your resources. One rule of thumb is you should your first year's salary, whatever you expect to make your first year at the office or in your job, your student loan debt should not be more than that.
Perfect.
So if you're going to start out making $35,000 a year, then don't have more than $35,000 in student loans.
Yeah. Dan, we really appreciate your time. We know it's valuable, and this has been a really neat experience. Thank you so much.
All right.
All right. Hey, is there anything else you want to add?
No, I'm good, Brian. Thanks.
Okay. Hey, thanks, Dan. Take care.
All right, sir.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
See you.
Thank you.
So-
Yeah, chill.
All right.